Whereas the powerful earthquake that struck Myanmar has also affected neighboring Thailand. Let's go across to my colleague Vishal, who's reporting live from Bangkok right now. Vishal, what's your assessment initially in Bangkok? What is the, whether the infrastructure has been affected because and state of emergency has been declared by the government as well?
So I've just reached Bangkok. It's been about half an hour since I exited the airport. The situation seems pretty normal here. If some tourists had come here today, they wouldn't even know that there was an earthquake here yesterday. But that situation on ground in one particular place called Chatuchak is where the new government building fell yesterday. A 30-story building that was under construction, that was supposed to be a new government building, that fell yesterday. And still, as you mentioned earlier, about 100 people are stuck there. They are trapped under rubble. Authorities are, scrambling to find people from underneath all those rubble, mountains of rubble there. But when you talk about an area like this, a downtown area like this, the situation is pretty normal here. I spoke to the hotel staff here. They said that it was pretty scary yesterday. Almost all the staff working in this hotel, they moved out, and all of them had to scramble and get out of the hotel. It was quite scary, and they said that the tremor lasted good 5 to 7 minutes. So that gives you a scale of the, the whole picture yesterday, how big it was and how scary it was. But as far as today is concerned, the whole of Bangkok seems pretty normal, but we'll get you the latest when we get to the ground zero, the place where the 30-story building fell, where rescue operations are underway as we speak.
Vishal, even the train services had been suspended across Bangkok is what we have learned. Has the train services also been restored? Because a nationwide closure of the schools was also announced by the government earlier.
Yeah, so there have been pretty much, a lot of closures have happened, and as you mentioned, train services have been stopped for a while. Whether they have been resumed or not, that remains to be seen. That will have to be confirmed by the local authorities here. But there are other things to be looked at here. The schools are still closed, and the authorities are trying to find the people trapped under the rubble. On the other hand, about 2 buildings were evacuated, and people had not been let into those 2 buildings. But now we are hearing that those 2 buildings are also now open for people who live there. But the authorities at the same time are saying that 2,000 buildings in Bangkok will be inspected for any damage that could have been incurred on them when the tremor struck here. So a lot happening here. The situation does seem to be normal, but beneath the surface there's a lot of tension. People are still talking about the earthquake, what happened yesterday. People are talking about the neighboring country, Myanmar, where more than 140 people have been reportedly killed. The information trickling in from there is pretty scant because the government there, the dispensation there is ruling military junta. So that will have to be seen what kind of information they give further. But for now, 140 have been killed in Myanmar, and about 10 people have been killed all across Bangkok.
Right, Vishal, as you also said, there's a sense of normalcy even on the streets where you're currently reporting live from. Help me understand, with the airport, have the flight services been affected in any way with the tourists still coming in as of now?
Yeah, I mean, I personally saw tourists from across the world, from Russia to Uzbekistan. I spoke to a few tourists also at the airport. They had been coming in, and they said that they had plans, but they had to, they could not cancel their plans at random. But all of that will have to be seen further when we speak to more people. We just got here, so we'll bring you the latest when we get that.
So Vishal, with the site that you are at in central Bangkok as of now, there seems to be not too much of an impact, at least at the surface level, like you mentioned. But which are the other regions in Thailand and the areas adjoining Bangkok which seem to have been bearing the brunt of the earthquake?
So mostly it's the central area of Bangkok that was affected, and some outskirts area as well. The exact area that has been affected is known as Chatuchak. That is where the 30-story building fell. And there are a lot of reports coming in that say that that had more to do with the fact that the whole structure was not made properly. There were a lot of faults in that whole engineering process. So the earthquake cannot solely be blamed for that tragedy. So it happened in conjunction with the earthquake, but it was not, just the earthquake that is to blame. The structure fell because it was reportedly weak. So authorities are still there. We'll speak to them and we'll get to the latest about that 30-story structure, the new government building that reportedly fell.
Vishal, just shifting focus slightly to even Myanmar, as you were reporting that about 700 have been injured and the death toll has gone up to over 144, the latest from the Myanmar junta, that information that was released. What are the other developments we have learned so far?
So Myanmar, the picture is pretty grim, especially in the second largest city of Mandalay. It's a historical city. It has a lot of historical artifacts and structures. All of that has been damaged, and some reports suggest that almost all the buildings in Mandalay have been flattened. But the reports are saying 140 have been killed. That figure seems to be quite low at the moment, considering the fact that the second largest city of Mandalay has almost been flattened. Some reports suggest that people are scared to even get inside their houses, and it's been almost 20 hours since the earthquake struck. So they are still on the roads waiting, because there have been warnings that there could be some big aftershocks in Myanmar, aftershocks as high as 7 magnitude or 6 magnitude. So people are still scared in the neighboring Myanmar. And the point to be noted about Myanmar is that it's one of the poorest nations in Asia. So it's not very equipped to handle a tragedy of this magnitude. It's been ruled by various factions of the military, and some states are ruled by separatist groups. So there has to be collaborative effort from all of these parties so that people of Myanmar could raise up from this tragedy.
Also, Vishal, we're learning that the Indian government is also likely to send out the relief material to Myanmar. Any developments on that front? Any updates?
Yeah, so the aircraft, the Indian Air Force aircraft has reportedly taken off or is about to take off from the Hindon Air Force base, and it will directly fly to Myanmar. It carries about 15 tons of relief materials, from tents to every amenities that a common person could require in a tragedy like this. So India is lending out a hand to its neighbor, and India has always been standing with its neighbor, and it goes to show that India has responded, one of the first responders to send its team to Myanmar. China has also sent its team to Myanmar to help with the rescue efforts. India is sending 15 tons of relief materials. So it will have to be seen how many more countries put their hand forward and lend their hand to the people of Myanmar.